So today I'm going to kind of show what I did with the power wheel here to get it running. For starters, the issue that we had was, well, it got left outside in the rain, and after tracing some of the wires here with the voltmeter, checking conductivity, I was able to determine that I wasn't getting any connection from the positive terminal on the connector here through to the other side of this white wire. So what I ended up doing was just clipping this one off on both sides, and then so I went and got these alligator clamps from Lowe's, and I just connected these directly to the negative and positive wires that would usually have gone through to our connector right here. So these are what I cut off. Ordinarily this connector would go right in here. Let's get a better look there. Would go right in here into the battery. But since there's some sort of corrosion or some issue with this connector that it was no longer, basically it was shorting out somewhere, or the signal wasn't getting through, throw that away. And we had to figure out a alternative here. So that's where the alligator clamps go to. And in all honesty, this connector that I cut off, I could buy a new one for like, I think $12 online, plus like $7 shipping. So effectively like $20 I could get it, which I'm probably going to do still, but in a pinch, this is what I did to get the power wheel up and running again. Essentially, as you can kind of see here, I got the wire pushed through the hole on the alligator clamp, and then do the same thing on the negative wire, which it's a small hole, so kind of have to finagle that through. But then once you get that through, let's just try and do this on screen. Now, admittedly, a concern that I have with this is if these things are gonna like get hot and melt after continued use, and that's a definite possibility. Like I said, this is a quick fix until I get that new part in that can just replace this whole connector harness. But for now, once you kind of get that through, we can twist it up, and then there we go. Now, well, that's janky. ever-present multi-tool. Let's just clamp this down so it's good and tight, and now tape the heck out of it. They also make insulated alligator clips like this, but as long as we're doing a temporary cheap job here, I might as well go all in on the cheap. Let's go ahead and get this taped up. All taped up. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Try and get all those little copper wires covered up so it doesn't short out on something. As I'm sitting here doing this, I think about all the better ways it could be done, and admittedly there's a lot of those, but here we are. Okay, so now we got that on there. Alright, so now we can connect that guy to the negative terminal. Just make sure you're paying attention and you don't hook them up backwards. Alright, now the other thing to do here, since we don't exactly have the same safety features as what we would have had on the original setup, is to keep it a little bit more secure. I used a screw here, just put that right here. Basically just to make sure that this isn't gonna get opened up by a kid and they're gonna mess with the battery. Let's go ahead and show that it works. So a little bit of insight on what the process up to here was like. This is a piece right here that can get taken off. This pedal piece can just snap out. There's a couple screws right there, right here, that let you lift the seat up. You can take this, basically open up so that you can get to all the wires, which I'm not going to open back up again because those were a pain to get back on. But then that's where the voltmeter comes in, just to go through. Once again, I'm not going to open these back up, but essentially, I just set it to whatever that one's called. I'm sure somebody knows, but can't think of it right now. But it just checks for checks that electrical signal can get through that wire. Just checks for connectivity. If there is, then it gives you a little beep like so. And if it doesn't, then there's just obviously no sound. So that's what I went, and after I took off all those wires down here and opened them up. I was able to get connections exposed and check where the connections were going through, and I was able to track down that the issue was between that battery terminal and the pedal on the positive wire. And based off of that, I was able to get it isolated and then get that connector just switched out. Initially, I had gotten a bunch of electrical wire that I was planning on potentially like rewiring that whole positive wire from the battery to the pedal, but I ended up just shortening it up slightly and then using the same wire, because once again I was concerned about not having a high enough gauge wire for the battery, that it could lead to overheating and other issues. So I kept the same wire. All I did was switch out the battery connector with those alligator clamps, and I'll do another video once I get that part in to do a better fix, a more permanent fix. But for now, I've got it running, and crisis averted for the nice spring weather we're enjoying right now in Iowa. Thanks.